Hey guys, welcome to the After the Bars podcast. I am Sam. How is everybody today? Well, just running a little bit late. Maybe this is going to be the normal time. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the summer schedule with my kid, and we're getting it figured out. But it's been rough. It's been rough. So, 2 days out of the week, I will have her full time, and then the rest of the week, I'll have assistance from Mariana. So I guess we'll get it figured out. Man, I have some really fun stuff to talk about. Hank Brennan, of course, has come out and made a statement, which is pretty cool, pretty telling. And then also we have the jury foreman has made another statement, and we're going to go over that a little bit. I don't know. I feel like now this is going to be the never-ending story. Yes, I do want to cover this to its fullest because of my scream for justice for John, or my screams for justice for John, and for the FBI to reopen the case. It's going to take a lot of pressure, not for them to reopen it, but for them to get it in front of a grand jury. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. A lot of people don't think it's going to happen, but a lot of really smart people think it is, and I'm included in those people. But I came up with that thought on my own just because of my history. For those of you who don't know, I'm an ex-federal inmate. I have had a lot of experience with the feds, the DEA, FBI, different task force across the country. Did a Rule 21 because I had indictments in multiple districts. Anyways, I know how the feds work, and the investigation into the Karen Reed matter is not over. And actually, we can't even call it the Karen Reed matter anymore. It's just going to be the Justice for John matter. But there's some fun things to talk about today. There's some sad things to talk about today. There's some disgusting things to talk about today. And we're going to cover it all. And I will be right back.
This will always be who I am.
All right. So the breaking news, what the breaking news is we have. Well, let me go to the chat first. Let me see who's all here. Let me lift these up so I can see over there. Tan Louise, it's good to see you. I seen you were there all by yourself for a little bit, but I'm glad you made it. Hey Shell, how are you doing today? James Collins cares. Good to see you, of course, my brother. I'm boxing up your package today, and man, that was easy. That was super easy. 5-6 people. Incarnate Soul, how are you doing today? Good to see you. I wonder if notifications didn't go out because we literally have 8 people here, and I normally it's a instant 30 people, like usually right off the rip, and then it can fluctuate. So maybe we'll get a little time before I get into the why do everyone help me out and smash the like button? That'll help put it out into the algorithm, and we might be able to get some more people. I don't want to start the story with just now it's seven people. It could be it'll be hard for people to follow along for what I'm doing. Yeah, the heat has been brutal everywhere except for here. But I have family all over the country. Yeah, and the heat has been crazy. Has anyone seen Grateful 11:11 lately? Michelle? I just realized right before I went on that I have not seen her in a while. And that's crazy. That's crazy. I hope she's okay. I hope her and her family are okay, and that everything's going okay with them. Maybe I should send her an email when this gets over. Yeah, Shell Dub says no, she hasn't seen Grateful. Yeah, it's been actually a minute if I remember correctly. It's been kind of a hot minute. Let me find something fun. Make sure that's all. Emily D. Baker is doing some awesome coverage. She's not stopping. Oh yeah, we should watch this for a second. I see the two gay guys are down in Ecuador. Let's I want to watch this about Joe Rogan real quick. This has nothing to do with our story, but we're going to wait for some people to get in before I do the main news stories. So yeah, we'll just check this out. This is, wait a minute. That shouldn't be like that. Yeah, that should be different. Things are weird. Things are weird on the After the Bars podcast. Things are weird. Yeah, I do not. But yeah, let's play this and watch this. Joe Rogan had a stalker who was threatening to kill him, fight him, and he was the guy was arrested yesterday. And Jesse on Fire has done a show to talk about it. So I thought we could watch that before we do the main
right there.
Stories while we
right there, he just tipped his hand. Okay, like what's he actually doing here? So Rogan's security left the second that they actually had him in cuffs. That's why they said Rogan's guys are gone. Detectives contacted Mr. Rogan, who stated that he had never had any interaction with Johnson. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. So we are going to go through this long form arrest video from the Liver King because we learn a lot of things about him. We learn his state of mind, which is very concerning. We also, there's a bunch of stuff in this footage that everybody missed, okay? Like including even in the first minute, okay? Like right when we get started, there's a huge tell as it relates to his state of mind with the drugs, okay? Someone just says it out loud, and I haven't heard anybody pick up on it. We also are going to go through what Joe Rogan's involvement in this was, you know, whether or not Joe Rogan was involved in the arrest and how his security was involved and how this happened, because towards the end of the video, it comes out.
Yeah, that's crazy. Incarnia Soul. Yeah, so that's probably it because yeah, attendance is kind of weak. I'll come on if there's only a couple of people, but I definitely don't want to get into the news story, my main story, before without you know, the people that might end up making it. And that's crazy. I wonder why. Because I've never had that happen where it doesn't send out the hey, Chrissy for Cat Newton. Hey, can you guys share with me if you got a notification or not? Because we're like a fourth of what would normally be here right now. And so I'm just kind of wondering if Incarnate Soul said they did not get a notification. So let's watch this story about Joe Rogan and his stalker before I get into the main stories. And I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other stories to cover. So we're going to be here for a little bit.
Exactly what Rogan's role in this was. And so
yes,
that is what we're going to get into. Now, I would encourage you guys, if you guys are even moderately interested in this situation, watch this whole video, because I was reacting to it live. And so it's not like structured like a normal video where I would choose, you know, what's the most interesting stuff and then kind of, you know, strategically put it throughout the video. Like I just watched this kind of all at once and then pull a bunch of things out of it. So buckle in and we're going to rock and roll. But, you know, since people are speculating about whether or not this dude is on opioids or other types of, I don't know, narcotics, I'm just going to say that if you are a person who buys Kratom in bulk, yokratom.com is a great place for you to potentially do that. $60 kilograms. And I say that because I genuinely believe that that right there is a great way to avoid ending up like this over here.
That's not true. He just said,
anyway,
this isn't what I
let's get into
I'm talking about right now, but that's not true. Kratom is super addictive. And just because it's legal doesn't make it okay. And he just said, if you don't want to end up, you know, on opiates like heroin or pills, Percocets, that's the old Elvis opiate, Percocets, Oxycontins, which they make limited supplies right now anyways, so you probably couldn't end up on those. But what I'm saying and with my Sam explaining thing about me and I can't articulate, man, that is the worst when I'm trying to Sam-splain something or I digress into a Sam-splain and I can't articulate. Oh man, that's just a mess. It's a super mess. Is that Kratom is super addictive. I've been addicted to it. It almost killed me just from ingesting it, not from the actual drug itself. Well, it was the actual drug, but I almost choked on it. And I was dating someone and I was in their kitchen and I put the Kratom in a parachute, which is basically just like toilet paper, and you swallow it. And yeah, I got to the back of my throat and it wouldn't break up. And so I tried to drink water and that wasn't working. And I started to black out. And right before I went completely out, it came out. And I never did it again. Not one time. I haven't mixed it in a drink. I haven't drank it, you know, gone to these Kratom bars that are all over. They're called Kava bars, but they should call them Kratom bars because that's they like sneak the Kratom in there. But yeah, let's get back to this. Because
like I said, right out of the gate, he like his assistant say something. But what's so bizarre to me about this, honestly, more than anything, is like his whole crew is like completely down with what's happening right now. Like they're asking like this is just completely normal. It's like, oh, well, yeah, of course we're here following Joe Rogan. Of course we're here challenging Joe Rogan to some type of violence without having even spoken to him about it. And yes, now we're just getting arrested, and this is all totally normal. There's nothing weird about this at all. You know, it's, I don't know. It's just like, it's almost like unsettling how normal they think this is. All right, let's get into it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not pressing play until you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. TikTok. I'm just kidding. No, but really do that, please. All right, let's watch this thing.
I'm now recording while dealing with the cops outside.
Why is that so loud? Good Lord. All right, let's go.
Damn, this took a while. I'm so sorry. I take it back. God, thank you. Perfect amount of resistance. So you're just picking.
That's Joe Rogan's stalker who's now in jail.
I just need to put stuff on. Just put stuff because they're not gonna take me naked.
Do you want the green? The green is better.
Whatever you gave me is perfect, Queen. Can I put my shoes on and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you need a new patch or anything,
You should record.
Boom, right there. He said, you need a new patch or anything? Now,
patch.
Everybody kind of cruised right through that, I would imagine. But what do you think that what kind of patch are we referencing? A fentanyl patch, also known as a transdermal fentanyl patch, is a medication used to relieve severe and persistent pain. It is a strong opioid and analgesic pain medicine that is applied to the skin and delivers fentanyl through the skin into the bloodstream over a long period of time. Do you need a new patch? I mean, listen, dude, it could be something else. I don't know. But that jumped off the page to me right there when, you know, it appears that we're dealing with some kind of drug, whatever. And real quick, just watch this video real quick and like just compare the two versions of him. And one of them is before and the other one is like a couple days ago.
Authentic guy.
Our early ancestors always ate the liver first.
When we took down an animal, it wasn't the muscle meat or anything
Well,
else.
I thought they were going to get into the arrest of
You
him.
know
He's
this.
arrested now.
The
They
Meth
arrested him
King.
yesterday.
He is yapping
They're gonna show
nonsense.
that,
The roids have reached his head.
This is what you got credit
video.
for. I don't really need the credit.
What you're
you
watching
know.
is nothing because I'm
Thank
about
you.
to turn it off.
But so disappointed. So disappointed that everybody sings. You know,
Yeah,
sense of
I just need to get
disappointment,
to.
not reconciling with the actual truth.
But, yeah, so I was just trying to waste some time until I did the. But we have like 20 people in here now, so I'm going to get to the regular stories. What I was getting at. So Alan Jackson has came out with a statement, and we're gonna read that statement. So Alan Jackson has come out and said, Attorney Alan Jackson issued a lengthy statement on Tuesday, blasting Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan over his egregious breach of prosecutorial ethics after Reed's acquittal in 2022 death of John O'Keefe. Jackson's critical comments come after Brennan on Monday said that a campaign of intimidation and abuse by Reed's camp led the jury in her second trial to find her not guilty of second-degree murder and manslaughter. She was convicted of drunk driving. Jackson also fired a shot at disgraced Norfolk District Attorney Michael Morrissey for having no interest in seeking justice for O'Keefe. The jury handed down its verdict last Wednesday after deliberating over 4 days. Jackson first shared the statement with Boston 25's Ted Daniel. Breaking: Karen Reed's attorney Alan Jackson released a scorching new statement 6 days after Reed was found not guilty of her most serious charges. And here's the statement. Here's Jackson's full statement. The jury has spoken, but Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan, in an egregious breach of prosecutorial ethics, has tried to publicly shame and discredit that very jury. For him to attempt to supplant his personal views for that of the jury is a desperate attempt to save face in the wake of a unanimous rejection of the prosecution's case. The rules of professional conduct are clear. A prosecutor should support the legitimacy of the justice system and promote public confidence in its operations. Openly attacking a jury's verdicts because he disagrees with it undermines that centuries-old edict. Mr. Brennan claims that his this is still Alan Jackson's statement. Mr. Brennan claims that investigation was thorough. If that were true, the Commonwealth would have uncovered what we, the defense, uncovered: hidden exculpatory evidence, lies, and perjury by the Commonwealth's own witnesses, cops covering for other cops, a biased and corrupt lead investigator with personal ties to the witnesses, and inculpatory and suspicious conduct by myriad witnesses. And I'm gonna get back to that. I just want to mark my place. And of course, he's completely correct. Someone's calling me right now. Brennan, and I did that show called Brennan Speaks, has come out and blasted the jury, saying that they were tainted by what was going on outside, when they all just said, no, we didn't know anything was going on outside. They've been accusing them of watching LawTube here on YouTube, which is kind of what we are. I'm like a subsidiary of my legal channel. They've accused the jury of tainting other jurors. They just they're not holding back. And I'm glad Alan Jackson finally came out and said something, because he was the person who needed to say it. Someone who's a member of the bar, who defended Karen Reed and went up against Hank in the trial. The only job of an ethical prosecutor is to seek the truth in a just and fair manner. The Commonwealth fell wildly short of that responsibility. Theirs was not an effort to find justice for John O'Keefe. Rather, it was a personal vendetta against Karen Reed by DA Michael Morrissey and his hand-picked prosecutors. And it cost the people of Norfolk County millions. The fact is Karen Reed is factually innocent, and this case should never have gone to trial in the first place. This case is a stark reminder that there has been a complete breakdown in what is supposed to be our justice system. Those in power are more interested in protecting themselves than the citizens that they are sworn to protect. The Commonwealth's defamatory public comments ring hollow to the very constituents they are supposed to serve. It is now crystal clear the disgraced DA Michael Morrissey has no interest in actually seeking justice for John O'Keefe by identifying and prosecuting the real killer or killers. The Commonwealth would rather simply condemn the jury and its fair and lawful verdict. We are thankful for the jury's commitment to truth and that they found their way to a just verdict. But make no mistake, if DA Michael Morrissey has his way, the truth never would have come out in this case. It would have been lost somewhere in private and deleted conversations that would never have seen the light of day. Corruption like this doesn't happen in isolation. How many innocent people have been railroaded because of failures in our judicial system? We as citizens must demand more of our institutions. That was Alan Jackson's statement. Assistant District Attorney Adam Lowley spearheaded the prosecution's efforts in the Reed's first trial, which ended with a hung jury. Brennan, who replaced him in the retrial, said Monday that he is disappointed in the verdict and the fact that he couldn't achieve justice for O'Keefe and his family. Brennan said that the evidence in the murder case led to only one person. After an independent and thorough review of all the evidence, I concluded that the evidence led to one person and only one person. Neither the closed federal investigation, not closed, nor my independent review led me to identify any other possible suspect or person responsible for the death of John O'Keefe, Brennan added. Yeah, and we had some more jurors come out and make some statements in the past day. Here, let's watch this. This is from the Today Show, which I swore I would never watch again, but I had to today. Let's just let this ad go by. Boom, chicka, bow, bow. Waiting. Hey, Darcy. No, I'm going to answer that for you, Tan Louise.
Into her new life post-acquittal. More of those who decided her fate now speaking out. One juror saying she had been leaning toward finding Reed guilty, but changed her mind.
I'm not there to say the defense's story was right or wrong. I think there was things that we saw, things that we heard, the evidence that could have fit that scenario. So again, that's the whole doubt thing.
The jury foreman, asking to stay anonymous, telling the Boston Herald, "We had to look at the evidence, and a lot of it didn't make sense. There was no meat, no aha moment. No one proved there was a collision." Prosecutors accused Reed of slamming her SUV into her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. But her defense team argued she was framed by police after Reed dropped O'Keefe off at a house party with other members of law enforcement on the night in question. A theory some jurors said they found persuasive.
I think Joe O'Keefe went inside the house and something happening there.
But some of those who've come under scrutiny through Reed's defense at trial, like the former Boston police sergeant who owned the house, also now speaking out and continuing to deny any wrongdoing.
There are police officers, EMTs on your front lawn. You're an officer. Why don't you just go outside and investigate or take a look?
That's the most ridiculous question that people always ask. What am I supposed to do? Run out front, my underwear and stuff?
For those of you who didn't see, I did cover this video that Brian Albert and his family put out. You can go back and check it out. It is I can't remember the name of it, but it's within the last week.
Got running yellow tape around the fire hydrant.
As for Reed's family, while relieved the trial is now in the rearview mirror, they acknowledge O'Keefe's death may stay unsolved.
I question that. I struggle with that. I think our family has to make peace with the idea that we may never.
And life will never be the same.
I don't know what will become of our lives. I don't think we'll ever go back to where we were prior to January 29th, 2022.
I mean, so Laura, what about Karen Reed herself? Any indication? Like, I guess she was a teacher. Did some financial work as well.
She did, yeah. So her brother told our Boston station he doesn't think she'll go back to that. Obviously, she can do anything she wants now. Her face has become so well known. But we should mention, even though the criminal case is over, guys, she still has this civil lawsuit still hanging out there, right? His family is still seeking civil damages, and the burden is lower in civil court. So we'll see how that plays out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Laura, thank you.
And that goes both ways,
NBC
guys.
Nightly News,
The burden's lower, but it goes both ways. They can present all the evidence that they want to. And so, if I was the Brian O'Keefe or Brian Albert and those, I would be reaching out to the O'Keefe family and begging them not to do the civil case. That, she doesn't really have that much money as it is. She just spent millions on her through donations and selling her house and things like that on her defense. And I would be not wanting that civil case to come to light. Not even a little bit. So the foreman for the jury, jury foreman voted to acquit Karen Reed of murder. Now he says FBI should reopen the investigation. So he is going to, I don't want to say lead the charge because we don't know how involved he's going to be, but he's calling out for the FBI to reopen the investigation. That's mainly because he doesn't have knowledge that it possibly is still open. I would bet my life that it's still open. No, the DA wasn't fired. They just brought in a special prosecutor because the DA isn't all that bright. The assistant DA who tried the first case, Tim Louise. So anyways, yeah, the jury foreman who we talked about yesterday, he has come out loud and proud asking for the FBI to reopen the case. And let's read a little bit of it. He says, we should start some type of investigation of what went on in that house, the jury foreman from Karen Reed's second murder trial said this week. Need to know the jury foreman in Karen Reed's second murder trial is calling on the FBI to reopen the case in order to get justice for John O'Keefe. And that's his main concern. It isn't to get revenge. He has no skin in the game at all. But he was, he spent 5 weeks listening to evidence, and he's not a dumb guy. And so he's gonna be, we're gonna be hearing a lot from him in the coming weeks. The foreman spoke with the Boston Herald and said there are still so many holes that need to be filled in the story. Multiple jury members have spoken out calling for a deeper investigation to track down who may have been responsible for O'Keefe's January 2022 death. Days after Karen Reed was acquitted of the most serious charges she faced in her second murder trial, the jury foreman is speaking out and calling on the FBI to look into the case and to get justice for John O'Keefe. They are going to keep, they're not going to be announcing that they're investigating. And if he gets a hold of them and says, hey, are you guys looking into this? They might tell him and just be, like, hey, hey, mum's the word. I'm just not sure. In a new interview with the Boston Herald, the foreman, who does not share his name, told the newspaper that he believes there are still so many holes that need to be filled in the story that says investigators should not stop looking into the case. Now that the FBI knows Karen Reed is not a suspect, something happened and multiple jurors feel that way, the foreman told the Herald. The foreman says he's calling on federal investigators to step in because no one local should be involved in the investigation, given the victim's ties to local police. It was lazy police work, the foreman said about the initial investigation, adding that we should start some type of investigation of what went on in that house. Reed, 45, was acquitted last week of killing O'Keefe for her 46-year-old boyfriend on January. We already know all that. O'Keefe, a Boston police officer, was found unresponsive, and we already know all about that. Here, let's look at this real quick. Here, I got to log into my Boston Herald subscription. Are you kidding me? Why is it making me do all this? Oh, because I've transferred it to a different computer. 1 second, guys. I can't believe it's making me do this. This is nuts. Okay. I gotta go pick the number on my phone so I can sign in. Oh, welcome back, it says. All right, here we go. Oh, brother. There we go. All right, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. Karen Reed Foreman breaks silence, cost shoddy police work, no justice for John O'Keefe. Basically, juror number 1, the foreman of Karen the Reed retrial, told the Herald that there is a aha moment in the grueling case that he said wasted taxpayers' money on paper-thin evidence that failed to bring any comfort to the victim's family. The unforgivable fact that the investigators didn't swarm the house at the murder scene on 34 Fairview Road in Canton during a nor'easter in January 2022 was shoddy work and a blatant red flag, the foreman added. Wow, these are pretty strong words. I haven't read this one yet. I had it ready to go, but I didn't have time to read it beforehand. That's why the only guilty finding against Reed was drunken driving. If that body was on my front steps, I know my house would have been stormed. The juror, who is black and grew up in Boston's Jamaica Plains, said the text from Trooper Proctor, bitch and explicative, also showed a serious bias, yet I had to put my personal opinion aside. It all seemed like a lot of wishy-washy privilege, the foreman said. We had to look at the evidence, and a lot of it didn't make sense. There was no meat, no aha moment. No one proved there was a collision, even with all that jargon. And all the jurors agreed. The juror who asked that his name not be revealed spoke with the Herald by telephone late Friday afternoon, along with his wife. The couple has 3 children, and they have come painfully close to tragedy before. The juror said he knew both Tarsanoff, who, along with his terrorist brother Tamerlan, detonated 2 bombs at the finish line of the Boston Marathon in April 2013. A bombing victim, 8-year-old Martin Richard. That terror attack ensuing crime waived claim for lives. The juror revealed that his wife was working at MIT. Night campus cop Sean Collier was executed by the Tarsanoffs, who would soon engage in a deadly firefight. His wife took a train home, avoiding any trouble. The juror said he works with at-risk youth in Dorchester and met both Dorchester and Yeoman. Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so That's cool. That juror works with at Troubled Youth. Badass. And him and his wife have a little connection to the Boston bombing, and you guys all remember that back in the day. The juror said he's still struggling with the whirlwind case, and at times he gazed over at victim John O'Keefe's mother, Peggy, who would wipe away tears when images were shown of her son, a 46-year-old Boston police officer, with his head split open. Still, he added that the jury would lock up Reed at 45, the officer's girlfriend, on the measly evidence presented. Foreman added jury's announcement, bro. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, this is kind of breaking. The remember that the envelope confusion, how they sent out one envelope and then they said, no, hold on. But they just said, no, it was miscommunication through with the cops, the bailiffs that were handling the jury. Well, the foreman talks about it in a little more depth here. The foreman added that the jury's announcement of a verdict on Wednesday that was suddenly pulled back was over one male juror who got the jitters. At lunch, I asked the juror, "Are you okay?" And that juror asked, "Hey, do you think I can take my vote back?" He asked. Other jurors got a little nervous, the foreman asked, but 20 minutes later, he said, "Okay, guilty of DUI, of OUI." They probably circled him. They probably circled him and said, "No, bro. You're not going to hang this jury over this OUI thing. Like, look, there was no proof. You seen the same evidence we did." It was the only charge that they all agreed on. Only clear evidence without a doubt of any infraction. We only went with what was put in front of us, he said, of the panel, 7 women and 5 men. I'm still asking, where is justice for John? Then it just goes on to talk about the cost to taxpayers, which is in the millions. There was a good interview on the Howie Carr show of everyone. He's interviewed almost everybody, including Alessi just Jackson. Alessi went on and I can't remember the other guy's name. Yannetti and Alessi have gone on other shows. And it's been pretty cool. Man, I really need to reach out to Grateful. Now I've been worried about her. Okay, bye, Darcise. How long ago was that? Oh, that was 10 minutes ago. Yeah, so if you guys have any suggestions on what we can do to try to just kind of start, I don't want to call it a movement because that seems kind of grandiose, but do some things to not let this story go away so that the FBI has no choice but to open it. Now, I feel like that's already open, but I don't want to just sit back and, and not do anything. But also I don't want to talk about this every single day because I think it's, ran its course. Like this is the second story I've done on this since, well, it's like the 5th story I've done, but it's the second story I've done since I thought I wasn't going to talk about it anymore and we were going to move on to other things. Now there isn't too much else except for the Iran and Israel conflict that's going on right now. Well, and our conflict per se. But it is kind of a slow news cycle. But I think we need to come up with something. If you guys have any ideas, please let me know. Anyways, let's go to dog bite theory. The scratches on O'Keefe's arm, Paulo said, did not appear to come from Reed's broken taillight. Yeah, we know about that. What about the FBI? Judge Beverly Cannoni barred the prosecution and defense from directly referencing the federal probe into the investigation, which has since ended. Prado said she realized early that the FBI had been involved, but it wasn't something that we took into consideration. Prado said that her thoughts about Brennan changed throughout the trial and that she can't judge him as a lawyer because the case was awful, full of holes. She added that she felt Cannoni, despite being very nice, gave too much protection to the prosecution with numerous objections during key defense witnesses. Prado took a shot at Boston Police. Yeah, we already talked about all that the other day. Jury defends attacks since her first interview. Since her first interview with independent journalist Jessica Machado on Thursday, Prado has been the subject of accusations from internet trolls. She addressed them during her interview. They're all saying, how come she is an attorney and she was picked for the jury? She's a liar. No, I'm not an attorney in the U.S. We've already talked about that. I really didn't know about the case, she added. I thought Turtle Boy journalist Aidan Kearney was an environmental problem. Karen Reed was just a lady. The stay-at-home mother to 4 young children called the power given to her to decide Reed's fate as a great, huge responsibility, as it was. That was happy to be a part of and was able to serve justice. I'm really happy that I am confident that Karen Reed isn't going to jail. Juror 1 postscript. The foreman of the jury shared with the Herald that he never took notes, a detail corroborated by our journalist. He has a photographic memory. His wife said over the phone he had an instant command of every detail during our interview. What about collecting evidence? They did a very poor job, and that was a red flag for me. The juror said, alluding to samples put into red Solo cups, yada, yada, yada. All right. Well, I guess that about covers it. Yeah, I just wanted to come on this morning, guys, and talk a little bit about the Alan Jackson statement, and then the foreman still made a call out to the FBI, and I thought that was worth talking about. Hey, Danette. I'm not going anywhere quite yet. I thought you were going to tell me my microphone was muted. So yeah, I do have one last little, I wouldn't call it a fun story. Okay. All right. I'll see you later. Thanks for stopping in, guys. I am going to try to work out the kinks on the call-in show for tonight. We'll see. I think the best one we had was the very first one. But the O'Keefe family says that they're being taunted after the Karen Reed trial. Let's take a look at this. Let me make sure the volume is on. And it's not.
Over the moon when she was acquitted of murdering her cop boyfriend. But has this supporter gone too far? The family of Reed's late boyfriend claims she did a happy dance outside their home just to taunt them.
This woman is dancing in the streets. So what she's celebrating? Karen Reed's acquittal, according to the family of Reed's late boyfriend, John O'Keefe. Yep, the Boston police officer's family says this woman did a little jig in front of O'Keefe's parents' home, taunting them after Reed was found
definitely not
guilty
appropriate
of second-degree murder. Karen Reed supporters are literally dancing on his grave, says the family friend who gave Inside Edition the video. This behavior towards a murder victim's family is unconscionable. Karen Reed compounds the pain by refusing to tell her supporters to leave the victim's
She's lucky she
family
didn't get
alone.
beat up, man.
Several witnesses from the trial who testified against Reed.
The Ford F-150 redefines working remotely.
We
There's
have
an
an ad.
available desk inside the cab, an available
Reed tell GMA they are being harassed by some of her supporters.
What has happened to all of us? It's just heartbreaking.
What they've done is they've
I feel like
dehumanized us.
Now the special prosecutor in the case is lashing out in a statement today. The harassment of these innocent victims and family members is deplorable. And for John O'Keefe's family, that includes taunts like this.
Hey Connor, you say she's the anti-Karen Reed, that chick that was dancing. You're up there in Norfolk County. That's awesome. I mean, you know, I bet you it was a lot of shit going on the past couple years up there. Hey Shannon, man, long time no see. Or did I see you yesterday? Day before yesterday. Yeah, you say she's anti-Karen Reed. Like, so you think she did that so Karen Reed would get negative press like her fans would? That would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense, Connor. Because I don't think anyone that was pro Karen Reed would do that. Oh, really? Yeah. I bet. I mean, she'd almost have to. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That's awful. Awful. Um, I mean, the Peggy, and I mean, I Mrs. O'Keefe, or whatever you want to call. I don't like calling people by their first name if I haven't met them. Or this is different. The Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's just like the left sending in rioters to, cause trouble with the right, but they pretend to be right, not to turn this into politics or anything, but yeah, that's effed up. I might do a story about that just to like let it be known. I appreciate that information, Connor. That's awesome. Thank you. Um, what else? You guys got anything going on? Is there any does anybody have any emergencies, any recovery issues? No one's in relapse mode, or does anyone have any milestones they want to celebrate? Starting on Monday, I know I just changed the format to this with me standing up so I can be, speak more freely. But with Hazley being on summer break, it's hard for me to do show prep in the morning. So I think what I'm going to do, not that it has anything to do with this particular format with me standing up, is that I am going to take it back to a desk and not this like raised desk. I'm going to take it back to a desk, and I'm going to get stories lined up, and I'm going to read through them, and we're going to talk about each story one by one. Kind of like what we did today, but more, it'll be a longer show, and it'll just be, just us processing the stories, and there'll be everything. And I'll try to avoid politics as much as possible. Yeah. Hey, Cliffan. Yeah, I'm going to try to avoid politics as much as possible. And of course, no drama, no Reese drama, no Tommy drama. I might make little snide comments here and there, but they're pretty much harmless comments. So I don't know. I really appreciate you guys, and the channel's doing okay right now, and it's not, I have gained some slow momentum, and because I was kind of like drifting backwards, but now we're kind of gaining some momentum, and I'm looking at the analytics, trying to figure out what's working and what's not working, so I can be here every day and hang out with you guys. I think we've had some good shows where we've had some laughs. We've definitely cried. I mean, how many times have I gotten emotional on the show? And we're just going to try to keep it as authentic as possible, but also an entertaining show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the coming months for here at After the Bars. I really need to, because I was going to start interviewing people, and I had some people lined up, and they're still lined up. But when I took on the construction job to pay bills, before I hurt my hand, and my back is trashed. I did my injections this week, and they barely worked because my back was so inflamed. And the doctor was like, "Yeah, you can't work construction anymore." So I had to share that with my buddy who I was going to work with, and he was bummed out, especially because I committed to working with him, and we were killing it. We were kicking butt, but I can't kill myself doing it. I'm sorry, Danette, about the commercials. I don't know why it just doesn't stay off, because I didn't have this issue before. Well, I'm gonna be signing off here in a minute, anyways. So I apologize. I'll look at my YouTube manual and see why the my default isn't not monetized. Because it used to be, and I don't know what's changed. And we're not into the thousands and thousands of views to where during the show that it would make a difference to have it turned off. So I will gladly have it kept off. Even when it's into the thousands of views during the show, I don't mind it being off because it can be turned on afterwards. Oh wow, Shannon, really? Shannon Trim says, I understand. I've been getting the injections too for my back. They recently burned the nerves. Yeah, check this out, Shannon. So, and everyone. So this time when I got my injection, last time I didn't feel it. I felt whatever they do to like make the area numb so they can put in the bigger needle. And I really felt those. I mean, they hurt like hell. And then the bigger needle, usually I just feel pressure. I felt a sharp pain, and then he couldn't get the needle into where he needed to put the medicine. And he's like, no, that's not it. And then the other guy's like, oh no, move over to the right. And then they put the medicine in. And usually when they put the medicine in, I feel it go down the sides of my legs. And then to me, that tells me, okay, it's, because the very first time they told me to expect that. And this time I told him, I was like, hey, I didn't feel it go down my legs. And he says, well, I mean, we see it on x-ray, that it's where it's supposed to be. And I put the medicine where it's supposed to be. But my back does not feel better this time. The thumb is terrible. It's just, it hurts, man. It'll go a whole day without hurting, and then it'll start throbbing again. And there's no infection or anything. So I don't know. So I just don't know. Yeah, but I appreciate you guys. I still have the like button. What's that? Yeah, so I can't remember what I was talking about. Yes, I believe I absolutely do. And I am going to go in for a new x-ray. My x-ray is from 2021. So, and I have 2 discs sliding over a disc like this. So like a disc is sliding out rather. And then herniated and all the things, spondylosis or whatever that's called. But yeah, I appreciate that, Shell. Thank you so much. Yeah, hopefully it gets better soon. So anyways, you guys smash the like button if you can. Not a great show, but not a terrible show. But I'm gonna get ready and take off. I'm gonna go meet the girls at the hospital. They're there giving the new mother a break. So they're gonna they're gonna give the nurses the new baby, and they're gonna go to a coffee shop that's there at the hospital. So yeah, I still have my GoFundMe going. You can find it wherever. I don't want to send people there anymore. But it's still going. And of course, tips and donations. But I am going to start selling some artwork again. I'm trying to get some commissions to do some paintings. And there's like 3 different companies that I've used that find me people to paint for. So I've reached out to them. Actually, I sent them an email, and they are glad that I'm back on board to do some commission paintings. But we'll see. My paintings take about a month, and I spend a lot of time on them. And I feel blessed that anyone would commission a painting and actually pay me for it, but it's not as much money as some people would think. When you look at the finished product, you would think, and that it was a commissioned custom painting, you would think, oh yeah, you should get like 10, 15 grand for that. It's not even really a fraction of that. And if to spend a month on something, but it's extra money, so I don't mind. I have done some bigger jobs. I did one for Coca-Cola one time. It was a painting on a wall. That was super cool down in Venice Beach. And that I landed that on accident. I was actually painting something else personal for a tattoo shop. And a rep from Coke was like, "Hey, do you ever do things for, companies?" And I was like, no. And I was like kind of shooing him off. He's like, "All right." And then he was just like, "Well, hey," and he came back and gave me his card, and it said, it didn't say Coca-Cola, but it was for Coca-Cola. So that was pretty cool. But anyways, you guys have a great day. I appreciate you coming out. Be sure to try to stay away from the drama out there. It's everywhere. Luckily, it's not touching us at all. I don't know. Who cares, right? Who cares about it? And try to be kind to someone. When I not make myself, but when I'm conscious about being kind to people, it comes naturally. You guys see how I am, but when I'm consciously like saying, okay, I'm going to find someone external out of my circle to be kind to, in some way. And it can be anybody. They don't have to be homeless. But homeless is preferred, but because they're just in a bad place right now, but it can be anyone. And you'll be amazed on the blessings that you receive from being kind and being kind to yourself and forgiving yourself. Well, guys, that's it for today. I will hopefully see you guys tonight. I am Sam, and this has been After the Bars.
Stay loud. Don't be woke. Stay wild. Stay awake.